Next game I want to talk about, man. We did not see this thing coming in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I picked the opposing team that got blown out to go in there and win this game. We got to clap it up for Curt Cignetti. The Indiana Hoosiers absolutely took it to Mr. Bielema and the Fighting Illini. Indiana wins this game at home 63-10. It was a blowout. Fernando Mendoza in this game at quarterback for Indiana goes 21 of 23. You cannot get more efficient than that in college football. For 267 yards and 5 touchdowns, his quarterback rating was 93.6. And on top of it, they ran the ball for 312 yards. It was murder.
This game would have been rated. This game would have been rated NC-17 at your local Blockbuster. It's the type of stuff that should be banned from the internet for gore and violence. This is your drive chart. Okay. Both teams trade punts to start the game. Then Illinois punts, it gets blocked for an Indiana touchdown. They respond with a long touchdown on the coverage bust. Then Indiana responds with a touchdown. Then again, both teams trade punts. When Illinois punts it back to Indiana at the start of the second quarter.
Yeah, it was a slow start.
It was. Indiana goes touchdown, Illinois punts. Indiana touchdown, Illinois punt. Indiana touchdown, Illinois ends the half. Indiana touchdown, Illinois punt. Indiana touchdown, Illinois punt. Indiana touchdown, Illinois punt. Indiana touchdown, Illinois throws a pick, and Indiana runs out the clock. That's just ridiculous. When a game is so lopsided, it's hard to say like what was the difference. It was just everywhere. Obviously the running game is unreal, but I want to take this second to shout out Fernando Mendoza, a guy I was high on coming into the year. Sure. I remember we did our Heisman sleepers, and I was like, if they made it work with Rourke, I think they upgraded at quarterback with Mendoza. So what does that look like? That's what that looks like. Illinois is no joke, man. We know their defense is talented. We know their offense is really good. So I give a ton of credit to Indiana's defense as well, because that was a problem for them at times last year. No, they look better than they were last year, to be frank. And Mendoza has, on a national scale, played his way into a first-round quarterback type of conversation, regardless of what happens in terms of individual accolades this year, like a Heisman Trophy or whatever. Everybody all of a sudden has Fernando Mendoza mocked in the first round, and you can see it, man. Honestly, if you turned on like the black and white filter, he kind of looks like Carson Beck, and it's not because he wears 15 like Beck did at Georgia. It's like they're both tall, commanding presence in the pocket. They're able to read the field pretty decisively. Like they both look like pros, but the way Mendoza is throwing the ball right now in terms of his accuracy, his decisiveness, his quickness, that touchdown he had in the back of the end zone, I think to make it 21-7.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's the best throw I've seen in college football this year. Like genuinely, It was a 15-yard touchdown, but the window, the zip, put it where only his guy could get it. And I'm like, wow, you don't see that. Don't see that every day. So shout out to my boy Fernando. I know it was tough to transfer from Cal. You made the right decision. In Indiana, their schedule isn't that hard again. So you could see a situation here where, again, Indiana just banks wins against the kind of muck of the Big Ten, and they find their way back in the playoffs the way we thought Illinois could.
It's different this year for Indiana. Here's why. We knew Illinois was, I guess we can't say good, but solid, very solid. We knew that. Mm-hmm. We saw them beat the brakes off of Duke, who we were high on. Now
they're not bad.
They're right. Illinois is a good football team with a good quarterback, and they have proof in the pudding of that. Indiana last year was this awesome story, and they got their way into the playoff, and you just kind of knew, you were like, when they play somebody real, because they had such a cupcake schedule, when they play somebody real, they might get cooked. And they did. Notre Dame did that to them. No question.
Ohio State too.
And this looks like a team this year, because they really kept adding on to it. This looks like a team this year that can seriously compete. I'm not saying they're going to make a run to the national championship. I'm saying they're not going to get blown out in the playoffs this year if they make it. I see a real world where Indiana is a serious competitor in the playoff. And this game showed us that. Here's what impressed me the most in this game. It actually had nothing to do with the offense. It's awesome that you put up 63 points and all that. You mentioned last year the fact that particularly against the run and in that Notre Dame game, Indiana really struggled to stop Jeremiah Love in the run. Illinois amassed 2 rushing yards in this game, Raza. 2 yards on the ground. That's it.
Insane.
That's insane.
To 300 whatever.
To 312.
It's ridiculous.
That was the most impressive thing to me is the fact that they held them to 2 rushing yards. Net yards, they had 29 net yards on the ground, and then Altmaier was sacked for 27 yards.
It's crazy. I mean, they're legit. They look legit on both sides of the ball. I know, like, they struggled. They got off to a slow start against Old Dominion or whatever. But
Old Dominion's good.
Old Dominion's not bad.
And they won the game.
And their last 3 games, one of them admittedly against an FCS opponent, they've scored 63, 73, and 56. So, like,
they're a wagon.
While giving up 10, 0, and 9.
Curt Cignetti might be one of the best coaches in college football.
I completely agree. And you're talking about a team that's worked the portal. They've done it pretty well. So I will say they go to Oregon in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on in the year, they go to Penn State. 2 tough road tests. Tough to win either of those games. I'll be watching them with a super keen eye. I also have to say the nerd in me cannot wait to watch them go to Maryland, because a Fernando Mendoza, Malik Washington quarterback matchup is going to make my fingers tingle a little bit. So love Indiana, love Cignetti. Awesome win for them. I said they would win, but you said it. I didn't see that coming. That was amazing.
Is there a world in which they could lose to Oregon and Penn State and still make the playoff? You see that happening?
Yeah, if they lose,
I could definitely see it.
If the rest of college football cannibalizes itself, I mean, 2 losses is not enough to eliminate you. If
they wouldn't play in the Big Ten title in that case.
That's right. And if Illinois looks good enough down the stretch that looks like an extremely quality win, like if they go out and beat USC this weekend, and if they give Ohio State a push or whatever, like that also plays a big role here. So ideally, you don't want to lose both. You put yourself behind the 8 ball there, but I do think there's a path if they lose both.
Yeah, it'd be tough because then you'd be looking at the Big Ten needing to get 4 in.
Yeah,
because
which is not impossible.
It's not impossible. I do think it's a lock that Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State are probably in.
Yeah, the way those teams are playing, right? Especially Oregon. Holy smokes.
Yeah, dude, that's another team we have to talk about national championship contending for sure.